Hello and welcome to Meanwhile in the Falklands, the podcast by FITV. And in the studio, there's only the one and only Hannah Newton here.
FITV's longest serving member, apart from Paul Foams.
Hey! And FITV's currently shortest serving member here. So, yeah, there's just me and Hannah here, which is Kyle is away doing
He's doing something
interview.
very exciting. We've sent him off to do a very exciting interview with two experts on salmon farming who are here in the Falklands, trying to suss out whether salmon farming is a viable project to bring to the Falklands.
Yeah, it's quite a big topic at the moment,
It's a bit of a controversial subject,
So-
I think, because obviously with salmon farming there's a lot of environmental impacts and stuff like that. So watch the show next week, listener, because Kyle will be doing a presenter-led piece on that.
Yeah, he's got a
I
lot
like eating salmon, so if it means that we can get cheap salmon here, I won't complain. But yeah, so that should be quite interesting.
But this week, we have had an incredibly busy week, starting from Saturday all the way to where we are now.
It has been a bit of a mad week, and last weekend was quite busy as well.
So this weekend, I went down to the flea market, which is something I'm quite
Olly's
excited
favourite thing. Last time he went to his first flea market, and you picked up something rather special that you wouldn't stop wearing.
It was good.
For a very long time,
Well,
even though it had a funny stain on it.
Well, right, hang on. So I got it for 50p, right? And that's quite a bargain.
What was it?
It was a shirt, right? It was what is it? A clay-coloured shirt. It was quite. I reckon it's quite nice. And it's got like an Indian on it, like with the proper feather
Headdress.
headdress. That's it. And then it's got like 2001 on the sleeve. So obviously,
small better or something like that from a lad's holiday.
Yeah. So obviously, it must have been a former, like, I don't know, lad's holiday shirt. But obviously, back in 2001, I must have been like 4-year-old or something. But I thought it's a nice shirt. Wear it around. You know them shirts you get just to wear around the house.
Yeah. Apart from you wore it out to the office. And tried to wear it on the news, no?
No, I didn't. No, not that one. No.
But no, we'll have to find a lovely photo, get a photo of you in that shirt,
But
so the listener can judge whether it's actually fashion worthy or not.
we can have a poll on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. But in terms of this week's flea market, I didn't really buy much because there wasn't really that epic shirt. But I do love them. I do love flea markets, and there's quite a lot of things, weird and wonderful things that go on.
It's quite good here because being in a remote place, a lot of people, instead of it's difficult to get stuff down and buy stuff, and getting stuff online as well, getting it delivered can be a bit of a nightmare. So a lot of people sell stuff to each other. So there's a Facebook group called Falklands Bring 'em By, which we call Che-Bay. Like eBay, but it's like for Che's, and people sell loads of stuff, and it's a good way of keeping things and not just throwing them away. I quite like it.
Absolutely.
You get a good bargain on there too, so yeah. But that was good. What else?
Yeah, and also you were busy on Tuesday because
Yes.
one of our FITV, the main man, he is now.
Yes, I was delivering a parcel. I was up at the crack of dawn. Mrs. Foams, you'll be glad to hear this, that I was looked after the lovely Mr. Foams to make sure that he arrived on time at the airport. Woke up at the crack of sparrows. Steve already had the coffees and the pan chocolats ready.
Organisation.
Delivered him to the airport. He's off now. He's arrived in the UK. Apparently the weather's not very nice there though at the moment.
It's gorgeous
So
out here.
he's gone. So we're back all on our lonesome. So wild parties at FITV again.
Wait, don't say that. Don't say that. Yeah. So you were up quite early with that. So what was that? 5 o'clock.
4 a.m.
4 a.m.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I took the afternoon off.
But it's interesting because on the 25th, or Steve, Paula, and the new person comes back
All in one
all
hit.
in the Falklands. So we're having
If that flight's not delayed, fingers
hopefully.
crossed. I mean, with all this coronavirus stuff, who knows? Maybe they won't make it back.
well, who knows? But
Yeah.
if we talk about also what's been going on, so Kyle went on a jigger last week.
Yes.
The luxurious jiggers. But this week we also went on a different type of ship. I went on a 1-day cruise.
That was last Monday, wasn't it?
Yeah, for the Norwegian Star.
Yeah.
Which was quite interesting because what happens is the harbour master, Chris Locke, hands over a commemorative plaque.
Yeah.
Which is passed over to the crew members on the Norwegian
What
Star.
was it for?
For the Norwegian, you hand it either because it's the first time they've been in the Stanley Harbour.
Ah, I see. So they get a plaque for the arriving.
Exactly,
yeah.
So we
That's nice.
got there. We were showing around the cruise ship. We had a game of table tennis. because me and Chris play a lot of table tennis. But it's quite funny because it was really, really windy, so the ping pong ball kept going around. But it's so luxurious. It was, it was a good experience. And they had the biggest buffet I've ever seen in my life. So, that was great.
Yeah.
Stuffed ourselves with food and coffee. But yeah, it was a brilliant experience.
I find it crazy how much people spend on these cruises, for
Absolutely.
these luxurious cruises. Because I always thought, like, if I wanted to do a cruise or go to Antarctica or something like that, I'd want to do it all rugged and actually...
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
like adventure. I wouldn't want to go down in a fancy... it's a little bit...
I think we may be different in opinion
maybe.
there, but
I'd want to do it like Scott the Antarctic or something, go really basic.
Well, it's interesting because on the cruise ship they have like massage parlours, gyms and things like that. I think that'd be amazing. Big fan of that. But yeah, so I did that. But in the meantime, you've been working incredibly hard on the IGS school.
Yeah, so this was an interesting thing. Last Friday, the Infant and Junior School Enterprise Club handed over a cheque to Stanley House. The Enterprise Club is a club that's been set up by two teachers, Dan and Miriam, who are down here on a contract. And it's to get the kids to learn how to earn their own money and be a little bit entrepreneurialism-y. Entrepreneurial? There we go. That's the word.
I think that's the right word.
And teach them how to run a business and things like that. So a couple of weeks ago, they took over a local cafe here. So they were doing all the food prep and things like that, and it was quite exciting. They all had different roles as well. So some of them will be doing the chefing, some of them will be doing the waitressing and stuff. And their parents came, and they kind of served all this food to their parents on the night. It was really good. They raised loads of money as well, and it going to a good charity. They chose Stanley House because it's a charity for young people. That piece is in the news this week.
But yeah, it was you and Kyle that went, and you guys had food as well.
Yeah, the food was really good actually. They were very good cooks. But no, the food was really, really good. So better cooking than me or probably you and your brown food.
Yeah, good.
Olly's on a diet now, listener, though, because Olly is in
Oh,
training.
good.
I know I've skipped forward a little bit, but do tell. What are you in training for, Olly?
Well, basically, right, there's a new sport in the islands called short mat bowls. So, you probably will not be aware, but I kind of try and do as much sports as possible. I quite like doing a variety of sports. So I went down one time for short mat bowls, had a go, and then I got quite addicted to it. So I went again the following week and again, and now it's to the point
Athlete.
of well, if you and now it's to the point is I thought I was representing Stanley, but I'm now representing the dark side. I'm representing NPC.
So this is it. So Olly's been going week upon week to short mat bowls, and we've got. He actually did a very nice piece, didn't you, for the news? So we'll get some clips of that on the podcast, listeners, so you can have a look at that. But on Saturday, tomorrow, is the big sporting event of the year.
Yeah.
Stanley versus Mount Pleasant Complex, the military base. Sports. So there's a day of sports where there's 10 or so different sports. So there's athletics, bouldering, golf, cycling,
short
mat bowls, obviously, badminton, loads of stuff. And it's a big competition to see who's going to come out on top. May I just add, last year we won, Stanley. Whoop, whoop.
Stanley won, yeah.
But it was quite funny because Olly phoned me very excitedly last night, going, Hannah, I've been asked to represent the Falklands in short mat bowls. And I was like, okay, yeah, you can compete. And turns out, to his dismay, didn't realise he's actually going to be representing the military because they're a team member down. So we're playing for the dark side.
Yeah, so, I mean, like I say, it'd be fun, but I really thought I was playing for Stanley, but I'm playing for the other side, so it'd be fun. But
have you been training? What did you eat last night? You're on a new special diet now? And,
I mean, a stir fry, that counts, isn't it? Yeah. And I had this aloe vera water. Never had that before in my life, and it had these weird bits in it. So yeah, it was all right.
Are you hoping that's going to make you win?
Yeah, I mean, tonight I might do 5 press-ups, get myself, picking myself up and some, using them kettlebells and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I like it because it's, I do archery as well. I do other sports, and it's not very physical, but it's quite.
I was going to say
tactical.
It's quite funny. The sports that Olly has chosen to take up seem to just involve one arm, and not actually stretching all muscles, should we say.
Badminton, I mean, that's okay.
One arm, bang.
Oh, yeah. Table tennis.
Table tennis, one arm.
Well, you can change it up.
Archery, the same arm. Bowls, the same arm. You're just going to end up with one big arm.
Yeah. No, so I'm really excited for that, and obviously we'll be filming them events as well.
It's okay though, because Ollie's going to join the football team soon.
maybe.
Yeah,
We'll see how we go with
that. It's the word that doesn't like to be mentioned, the football team.
Yeah, but we are filming the event though, aren't we? We're filming a lot of...
Yes, we will be. We'll be flitting all over the place. It's at the Leisure Centre, FIDF Hall, the golf course. Some of the runners are doing the Cape Pembroke route, park run route, which should be nice around the lighthouse. So we'll be all over the place all day filming. But it'll be really good, and I think we'll give you the package to edit.
Nice. And
so,
then
you can have a go at doing that.
we're also going to, on Sunday,
it's a weekend full of stuff, actually. It's a very sporty weekend, because it's also Darwin Harbour Sports that weekend, which is out in camp and about an hour away from Stanley. They're doing, over 4 days, a series of events from gymkhana, horse racing, dog trials, shearing, all sorts of stuff.
These are all sports that I'm not kind of used to, which would be quite interesting.
Sports,
exactly,
isn't it? Yeah.
I'm like I said, I've never really
and
had
also,
a look at how it's all done, really.
There's also sports on the west this weekend too. So for people who can't make it to, who are on the east, or people who are on the west who can't make it to the east, they've got their own sports week as well.
Yeah.
Which similar events as well, which should be quite good. Would have been nice to go out, but I think because everything fell on the same weekend, it was a little bit tight trying to get us everywhere. We can't be everywhere.
Unfortunately not.
Yeah.
But in terms of in the Falkland Islands, so we've got this coming up. You know, hopefully the weather stays as it is, because it is beautiful out there. We do have the big single referendum that's going on at the moment.
Yes, this is very exciting.
There's a lot of debates and stuff, isn't there? So
on the 25th and 26th of March, whether whether the Falklands should be one or two constituencies. So Stanley and Camp, or just Stanley. At the moment, it's two. So voters elect members of the Legislative Assembly candidates from Camp and Stanley, so there's an even representation of the whole of the islands. Yeah. I think personally, actually, I'm not going to say my personal opinion, because
fair enough.
Probably shouldn't, but
we can't vote because we're not status holders at the moment.
We can't vote, which is a shame.
But it's all with status holders that can vote in. There's quite a lot of debate going on at the moment, but 2/3 of each constituency have to approve it before
66%.
66%
is what it is. So before it even comes through, it's got to be 66% of people from Camp and 66% of people from Stanley voting for single constituency or two. So it should be interesting to see. Because
there was a big referendum, obviously, in 2013, and that had a really, really high turnout of voters. So I'm wondering whether there'll be another high turnout for this one.
I think there probably will be. I mean, last one was to do with whether the Falkland Islands should be British. Yeah. So that was a big deal.
One, yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see which way people vote. I think people will vote for two constituencies, keep it the same. But we shall see.
So keep an eye out for that in the coming weeks. With our, so we will be covering a lot of it, won't we? So,
yes.
So sports, and on Sunday next week, you also are invited to go down to be part of the International Women's Day.
Yes.
This week, sorry.
Yes, that's quite exciting, because Sunday is International Women's Day. I heard on the radio actually quite a lot of people are doing stuff for it. So like, is it the Scotsman Rail Service have changed their name to the Scotswoman?
Oh really?
For the month.
Oh wow, okay.
And a lot of the train drivers, they're all women. They've made sure that all the women are doing all the jobs on the day, which I don't think is very fair, because if anything, they should be getting a day off. But so Nicola at the Harbour Light Cinema is hosting a special Women's Day, where there will be afternoon tea, which is one of my favourite things.
Absolutely.
The military wives will be doing a little concert.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then there's the film that's about the military wives that will be shown at the cinema, so it should be quite nice. I think it's got Emma Thompson in, I want to say, but I could be, no, it hasn't.
But is it?
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe. But it looks good. The trailer looks quite good. So it's about the military wives and stuff. And to be honest, I don't really know much about them, so it should be quite nice to watch.
But is it like an all-day event then, is it? Or is it
I think it's an afternoon,
just...
Yeah.
All right, okay.
so it should be good. Ollie's just jealous that I get some free food. It's all right. I'll take you guys a doggy bag back. That's
Yeah, no, I think me and Kyle would appreciate that. Yeah, definitely. No, it'd be good. So, Kyle, you have returned from your
I'm
interview
back.
with the salmon people.
I
So, can you mention anything about that? What was the interview like?
It was good. I had a lovely chat with two lovely salmon farming experts. Salmonistas from Chile, and they worked for the World Wildlife Fund, or the WWF, not to be confused with the wrestling, which used to be called the WWF, but is now the WWE. So yeah, coming back from that little sidetrack, the interview went really well. They were chatting all about, so they're here to do a whole series of public talks about salmon farming, and because there's been a proposal put forth by a company to start salmon farming here in the Falklands, and it's being discussed in government at the moment. So Falklands Conservation invited these two experts from Chile to come over and just talk to the public about salmon farming and the effects it has on the environment. And they weren't explicitly negative about salmon farming. It was more just of a, if you as a community are choosing to do salmon farming, this is the way that we recommend you to do it responsibly and to do it sustainably and to avoid some of the issues that have happened in Chile and happened in other parts of the world. So no, it was good. They know a lot about fish and a lot about salmon farming. Which is always the case whenever I go to Falklands Conservation. I always get worried I'm going to ask some stupid question about some environmental issue or some whale. Hence, when I went down there, hence when I went down there, when I first got down here, I did a lovely piece about some stranded dead whales, and I went and talked to one of the whale experts down at FC about what happens to whales when they strand and all that kind of thing. And I made the mistake of saying SEI whale instead of saying say whale, and they had a good old laugh at me. And then I also offended them because they were showing me some lovely footage of these dolphins. I can't remember exactly what the dolphins were called. Commersants. Yeah. The ones that are like black and white. And I went, oh, they look kind of like killer whales. And then they went, they're nothing like killer whales. I went, well, like the colour scheme.
You learn something new every day.
Every time I go down to Falklands Conservation, I learn something, and it's usually some part of my assumption about wildlife is wrong.
Do you reckon your fish or maritime knowledge has significantly improved from your first day to where we are now?
Oh yeah, 100%. I've done so much stuff about fisheries and fishing licenses and salmon farming and ports and all sorts.
Bypass.
I could captain a ship, is what I'm saying.
Well, it does tie into, because this week as well you did some pieces to camera.
I did.
And you were in front of some boats as well.
I did.
And it was well maritime, so good link in there. But why were you doing the pieces of camera? What piece was it for?
I'm just very nautical, really.
We need to get you a little sailor suit.
I need a little sailor suit and a little captain's hat.
Yes.
No, I was doing a bit of a look into the new accord that's been signed between the Falkland Islands Fishing Companies Associations, got that in one go,
nice.
And the Falkland Islands government. And it's basically it's like a promise to work together in the future. So the accord sets out a whole bunch of ways in which FIG and the Falklands Fishing Companies are going to be working together to ensure that the fishing industry remains sustainable, and that means not only making sure that the environment's safe and cared for, it also means like making sure that you're not overfishing, and also making sure that you're properly supporting the local community, whether that be through like charity initiatives or through like ensuring that people have a place in the industry and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's just like it's a promise for the future. So they've now got to make a 5-year action plan about how this agreement's going to work and how the government and the fishing companies are going to work together, and what the responsibilities are going to be, and who should be doing what and when and why and where and that kind of stuff. But no, it was interesting. Got to talk to Stuart Wallace down at Fortuna, and I got to talk to the lovely Tesman Barkman, who's the MLA for fisheries down here. Got her standing in front of a lovely board full of fish.
Yes, I saw that. Very good.
which is a little bit of a different take on the way we usually interview MLAs, because we usually have them in the boardroom, but unfortunately that was being used. And in Teslin's office, she's got a big poster of all these different fish and that you catch in the Falklands. So I got to stand next to that. And I must say, I was pointing out fish to her, and she knew what the names of them were. So she does know a little bit of her
Knows
stuff.
her fish.
Knows her fish.
I just remember taking you fishing and you struggling.
Yeah,
That
massively
one
struggled.
time.
I was actually funny that I was talking to Stuart Wallace when I was interviewing him, and I was saying, oh, me and Hannah went out fishing, we didn't catch anything, and he was like, oh yeah, you probably weren't fishing in the right place, and you don't know your stuff.
Yeah, there is a very tippity tip-top fishing location here where you have to be a member to go and fish it, and you can catch some really good fish there. But it's exclusive. So I don't know whether we could get an FITV permit on it.
Yeah, we need to sneak our way in or get part of the fishing crew, as it were.
Brilliant. And then we've kind of mentioned up next week anyway, but you're also involved in things. What are you involved in next week?
What am I involved in next week? Well, I'm going to be helping out with the multi-sports. I'm unfortunately not going to be taking part in any of them because Olly has taken that with his short match bowling.
We mentioned the
we've already covered that bit.
But I will be down at the multi-sports helping film.
But sorry, just to. But what was interesting is I got the call, and then obviously Kyle, you I live. If you don't know, listener, FITV members usually live together. So as soon as I got in, I felt so sorry because I was like, oh my god, I was quite excited. So and then we went shopping.
No, what happened was Olly came in and went, I've got big news. I won't tell you until you come out and see me in person. And then what does he do? He immediately puts it on Facebook. And then I come out and go, oh, so you've joined this thing? And he goes, oh, how do you know?
Well, I didn't know you were checking Facebook, but yeah, anyway. But yeah, so. You were the first person to receive that news. But anyway, moving on. So we're filming up the multi-sports.
I'm filming the multi-sports, and then, as I said, I did an interview with the salmon farming people, so I'm going to be looking a bit more into that. I'll probably be interviewing Tesden again to just talk about fishing and salmon farming here in the Falklands and what the government's plans are as they go ahead with it, or go ahead planning it. But
we've also got something very exciting happening. If the flight comes in on time, the Island Games Committee are coming to the Falklands.
Yes, of course they are.
To have a visit and see if there is potential for the Island Games to be hosted here.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
Woo-woo.
That'd be interesting.
Probably be in many years to come,
yes.
but it still will be nice to see them.
It'd be nice.
And you guys get to meet them as well. There's a Government House reception on Monday.
Maybe it will mean we'll finally get an ice rink for the hockey team.
Exactly, you never know. That would be good.
Or an outdoor bowls rink.
Outdoor bowls rink.
Bowling lawn, I think. Yeah.
Olly's a bowls pro now.
Yeah, that's it from now on.
Anyway, I think that's probably us, isn't it?
Probably us.
So yeah. So if you're listening in, how can they get this week's show or channel?
Yeah, well, they get it on KTV, and they can also watch online, which is the best way, I personally think.
It's £60 a year, absolute bargain for quality.
And these are the last couple of weeks. Well, last 2 or 3 weeks, you'll hear Carl's voice.
Yeah. So But if you subscribe, you can get access to the whole backlog of videos that I'm part of.
Exactly.
So if you're ever missing me,
Carl
there they are.
fans out there.
Exactly.
You can. Fuck this. Fuck that.
No, that's fine.
Because I got tired and gave up on what I was supposed to say.
But what can you do? No, that was weird anyway. But
well, we can keep the bit what I was saying about the super fans. So, but if you do want to listen to more episodes of this podcast, you can go and listen to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, or anywhere you can find podcasts. Or YouTube as well.
We've got lots of good stuff up on YouTube at the moment. We've been uploading loads and loads and bits and bobs.
So go onto YouTube, give us some views, and maybe we'll start making some money from it.
Money? No way.
Businessman over there. Brilliant. Exactly. All right, we'll wrap it up there then. We've got an exciting week.
We will catch you next week, won't we?
See you later.
See you later.
See you next week.